Stay mobile, friends, well up into your years. I'm 42 now, I'm no spring chicken, but I tell my wife I'm just now reaching my prime. I'm only going to get better from here. Better looking, for sure, and only fitter as we get a little bit older. But the key to staying mobile, to staying fit, is just to not stop. Never stop moving. Even if you get injured, you got to keep moving. If you're capable of going for a walk, go for a walk. And I always recommend training in the real world. The gym has its place. I get it. Like, it's nice, it's comfortable, it's convenient sometimes. It's got flat, squishy, soft surfaces. Everything is easy to hold on to. But the real world looks like this. This is what the real world looks like. And you need to be capable of moving your body through the real world. And on uneven, sometimes slippery, rocky, moss covered terrain, you need to be able to continue doing that well into your older years. Versatile fitness for the active outdoorsman. You guys that are hunters, fishermen, hikers, campers, adventurers, and you're getting a little bit older perhaps, and you still want to keep up with those younger studs out there, this kind of stuff is for you. This content is for you. I always suggest training outside. It's good for you. Be out in the fresh air and the sunshine. Be outside when it's raining and miserable and nasty because it toughens you up a little bit. The soft, cushy, air-conditioned gym is only going to do so much for you. So staying mobile into our elderly years, getting a little bit older, is going to be all about weight management for one, because if I am 100 pounds overweight and I attempt to move through this environment right here, especially once I start to get tired and my muscles are fatigued, I'm going to be very likely to injure myself. Ankle, knee, hip, low back injuries, especially if you're putting excess demands, like putting a backpack on if you're going for a hike and stuff like that. You are opening yourself up for way more injuries. So losing weight, that's going to be the key. Never stop moving. Be active every single day. Do something. Get out there and go for a walk. If the world would invest 15 minutes a day just going for a walk, it would be amazing. We would crush the scams of the insurance and healthcare industries for sure if we would do that, if we would just stick to that plan. Guys, before I keep going, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This channel's growing. It's growing fast. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, leave us a comment. Any comment will do. Share this video with somebody, anybody. I'd be really grateful for the support. But if we lose a few pounds, and that's going to be mostly due, not just exercise, because you can only burn off so many calories. It's going to be calorie restriction. It's going to be watching what you eat. If it doesn't look like meat, if it doesn't look like a plant, if it doesn't look like a vegetable in its original state, if it's been modified in some way, avoidance or moderation is going to be the key. But if it still looks like the fruit or the vegetable, or it still looks like meat, pretty much eat as much as you want. It's hard to overeat that kind of stuff. Everything else, try to avoid or moderation. And I promise you, the weight will fall off of you and you'll be so much more athletic, so much more mobile, even into your upper years. Now, I understand, as we get a little bit older, we're going to accumulate injuries. I've got an assortment of things that are wrong with me, and there's always going to be something that we have to work around and modify and adjust. But we have to do the best we can with the hand that we've been dealt, with the bodies that we have, and the injuries that we've accumulated. So just no excuses. Figure out a way to stay active and stay mobile. So when we move through places like this, especially if I'm running, if I'm moving faster, like I like to do trail running. I hate running on tracks and treadmills. Ugh, barf. No, thank you. I want to be outside. But when you do this, you're taking on a little bit of a risk if you're not trained for it. So if you're just getting started, you're just getting back into movements and you're getting out there starting to exercise, yeah, use the treadmills, use the flat, smooth surfaces, but eventually let's graduate into the real world. And when we move through places like this, like for example, if I wanted to do a trail run up here, the way that I run and the way that my foot strikes the ground and the way my hip and my knee is braced for impact each time is a little bit different than if I was just freely running on a track. If you're running on a track or a treadmill, you know that nothing bad is going to happen. It's going to be the same, consistent, easy, predictable foot strikes every time. But this is going to be a little bit different every time. I might step on the side of a little stick like this and boom, I could break my ankle in half. I've definitely had some ankle injuries. And it's usually under a state of fatigue. So the fitter that we are, the less likely we're going to have those problems to start with. But when I am moving through a thing like this, a surface like this, I'm bracing for impact. I'm I'm trying to stay loose and nimble. So if I do step in a little bit of a hole or something like that, my body doesn't collapse and cave and break. It just moves fluidly with it. And if I should trip and stumble and fall, I've maintained my mobility enough where if I trip and stumble and fall, I could just roll through and not injure myself further, as opposed to going bam and planting down and getting that very, very common falling injury to the wrist and arm. That happens a lot. Go to any ER and you'll see a lot of people coming out because they've fallen down and they've broken these bones right in here. So we can avoid that by being nimble and mobile. I like tumble training, like that forward roll right there. Highly recommend that you invest some time into getting better at that kind of stuff so you can move your body through space without being injured, and I can be agile and nimble if something bad should go wrong. But like I was saying before, when I'm running through a space like this, I'm loose and I'm relaxed and I'm trying to not be stiff and rigid, because if I do step on something awkward, I step on a root or whatever, I want to be able to go with the flow and not break, if that makes sense. I want to be like the palm tree in the hurricane that bends and flexes and doesn't snap in half. That's what I want to be. Foot strikes, I generally recommend a pretty flat-footed foot strike. The ball of my foot hits ever so slightly before the heel. You never want to heel strike when you're running, because what that does is it kind of puts the brakes on. It's like this jarring sensation, and you're slamming your heel into the ground, and that gets translated all the way up into you, and that's why you get low back pain when you're running. I always recommend that the ball of your foot hits just ever so slightly first, just ever so slightly, so it comes in contact with the ground, and then my whole foot is like, it's like a shock absorber when it hits the ground, as opposed to boom and then rolling and then boom and then rolling. We want to absorb that impact, and that is going to give us longevity. That's going to allow us to continue doing this for a long time. I don't want to give up being able to run. Maybe one day, when I'm 75, I'll have to give up the running. Maybe, I might have to start walking and not running anymore, but I'm going to pursue this thing as long as I can. I'm going to be smart with my training. I'm not going to abuse my body. I'm going to listen to my body as much as I possibly can and put my pride aside. But I want to maintain this ability to run on uneven, real terrain like this as long as possible. That's my goal. I realize a lot of people don't have the opportunity. They didn't grow up in this kind of environment with the outdoors easily accessible. I get it, but that's why we have to start incorporating this kind of stuff into your training. Like, for example, I had a college athlete one time. I was a Division I strength conditioning coach for a while before I worked for Naval Special Warfare. And one of my athletes was a soccer player, and we did this hike one time. I thought, you know what we need to do? We need to get out of the gym, and we need to get these girls up to the top of the mountain that was off campus just a little ways. Short run, no big deal for a Division I soccer player. Easy peasy, I thought. But anyway, we sprinted up to this mountain. They did all fantastic getting up to the mountain. And then when we got to the top, finally, this girl, she turned around and she looked off the mountain down the trail. It's pretty steep, granted. She was terrified. She was petrified of heights. Even though she ran up, no problem. Literally, the way down, she had to scoot for a mile on her butt like this. Down the mountain until she got to a low enough height where she wasn't terrified, because she just hadn't exposed herself to uneven, difficult terrains like that. She'd always been on flat ground and smooth surfaces and turf fields that are perfect and no risk of injury. Not me. I want to be out here in the real world.